Back for more Young Dawn the Sauce God, ChavezzSlovakia. Thank you guys for joining me. I was terrified the animated story. Now, Young Sauce the Don. What the fuck? Young Dawn the Sauce God. I'm leaving that in. I don't care. Sometimes I fuck this name up, man. It's easy to remember as hell. But he's dropping his vlogs on his main channel now. So make sure you check those out. He also has a vlogging channel, which is really freaking good. So definitely check out his vlogs. If you haven't seen them, they're actually fucking lit. And there's somebody told me he was like opening for 21 Savage. I don't know if that's real or not, but I want to check it out. Hopefully it's on a vlog so I can see it. So let's get into it, man.
But you have to realize that as a black guy, that's my equivalent of dropping your average white guy in the middle of the hood at night. Like, I would have been so much more comfortable being in a 2-bedroom apartment in a ghetto somewhere with grills on the windows and gunshots and police sirens going off in the distance. In a weird way, I would have felt safer.
What situation does that feel safer, Young Don? You over here like modeling stuff? That's what you doing?
So I'm 23 years old and I've been through a lot, okay? I've been held up at knife point. I've been held up at gunpoint. I've been hospitalized for serious heart complications, and more terrifying than all of those, I dropped out of college to try and be a YouTuber while having Jamaican parents. My point is, not a lot of things scared me at this point. And I'm not trying to seem like I'm this big tough guy who doesn't get scared. Everyone has fears, but I'm just saying that my life experiences have definitely worked out a lot of my inner little However, fairly recently, I had an experience that, for lack of better words, had me shook. This story takes place a little less than a year ago while I was still living in California. I had just quit my day job at the deli, and I was babysitting these 2 special needs kids for this pretty rich guy who we'll call David, that my boy Will had acquainted me with. Now, David owned several small businesses and was always very busy, and his 2 sons were very much afflicted with their special needs conditions, so they pretty much needed around-the-clock supervision. Like, they could not be left at home alone for a second, even though they were both technically teenagers. And to be honest, best job I've ever had. Outside of being a YouTuber, of course, if you can even call this a job. For one, I was getting paid like $20 an hour to pretty much watch TV and play video games with children. Like, I can't even call it work. I'd occasionally have to wrestle one to go take a bath because, again, he was like a little kid trapped inside a teenager's body. And like most little kids, these did not like to go bathe. Like, I don't know what it is, but little kids just don't like taking baths. 2, David lived in a mansion in the hills. So that was cool. It was a beautiful, massive house on this huge piece of land surrounded by lush green forestry. It was tucked away far from the city, and the nearest neighbor's house was pretty far from David's house, so you had the ultimate sense of privacy. Needless to say, I was basically getting paid like $800 a week to chill in luxury for 4 months. Very nice. So I usually work from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. But one day, as time was approaching the end of my shift, David texted me saying that the babysitter who was supposed to be coming to take over after I left called in sick, and he wanted to know if I would be willing to stay until 10 p.m. that day. And it wasn't really that hard to convince me to stay, because again, it was just like chilling at home, but instead I was making money. So I settled back in and I continued to watch the boys, and everything was going fine, business as usual. That was until the sun started to go down. You see, I had never had to babysit the boys during the nighttime, but I figured it wasn't going to be any different from babysitting them during the day. Well, nope, I was wrong. That kid was scary as fuck. Let me tell you why. You remember all those things that I said made David's house seem pretty dope? How big it was, how far away it was from the rest of civilization, how it was just surrounded by lush, dense forestry. Well, turns out all of those things plus no light outside is a perfect recipe for a fucking nightmare. If you have never been alone in a huge old house in the middle of nowhere by yourself at night, don't. It's scary. I'm serious. It's scary as fuck, nigga. It's not fun. So I'm upstairs with the boys, and it is pitch black outside. Like, you don't realize that there are no street lights in sight for miles until it's nighttime. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, that's kind of creepy, but whatever. I'm not a bitch. So I pull out my phone and I try not to think about it. An hour or so passes and the boys go to bed. So now I am very much by myself. Bro. And I had like 2 hours before David was gonna get home. So I turn on the TV and I start to watch Netflix to pass the time. And as I'm watching TV, I hear something rattling around outside. And instantly I'm like, what the fuck is that? I go to the window to see if I can see what was making the noise, but I can't see anything. It's just that dark. So I sit back down and I start to talk to myself. I'm like, all right, Don, don't be a p***. It's probably just a raccoon or something. You have nothing to worry about. So I'm sitting there trying to chill out, and then there was a noise again, but this time it was way louder. So I jump up and run to the window, but of course, I still can't see shit, nigga, like it's dark. So now I'm genuinely scared, because I had just watched Get Out, and a part of me low-key for a second considered the idea that maybe it was possible that some of the rich old people who lived around David's neck of the woods got wind that a couple black guys had been babysitting for him. And maybe, just maybe, they were gonna get together, break into the house, and take me out. Listen, I know it sounds ridiculous and stupid, but you have to realize that as a black guy, that's my equivalent of dropping your average white guy in the middle of the hood at night. Like, I would have been so today I want to tell you a story. Being in a two-room apartment in a ghetto somewhere with grills on the windows and gunshots and police sirens going off in the distance. In a weird way, I would have felt safer. So I turn off all the lights upstairs because I went into survival mode. Like I was trying to even out the playing field because the lights gave away my location and I didn't want to make it easy for the murderers to find me. So I'm sitting there in the dark and then I hear something fall over outside, which 100% convinced me that there was someone outside lurking around in the darkness who was gonna come inside, kill me, and then sell my liver on the black market. So I called 911, dead ass. I called the police for the first time in my life. I called the cops. I needed help. I was scared. So I call the police and in my best white guy voice, I tell them what's going on. And the lady on the phone is like, so do you want me to send a police officer? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I guess it's not that necessary. I'm sure you guys are busy dealing with more important things. Like actual shit. If you have someone patrolling in the area, I wouldn't mind if they just so happen to swing over here. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm talking to her, I hear a loud slam, and I was positive that it was from just outside the house, like on the property, but there was no one else here. David still hadn't gone back, and there was no way that was a fucking raccoon. Unless these raccoons are out here in the gym benching 45s, there was no way that was a raccoon. That was a large metal object hitting another large metal object. I was going to die. So I was like, yes, please send someone right away. Send someone now. Hurry, they're coming for me. I need people with guns right now. So I give her the address and then she tells me that she'll arrange to have a cop come by and that I should just make sure all the windows and doors are locked and just to hang tight. So I get off the phone and I start to think, what am I gonna do if someone really breaks into the house? Like, I'm not armed. And for like half a second, I was like, I should just leave. I should just climb down the balcony right now and sprint to my car and just never come back. And I know it's f***ed up because I'd be leaving the boys behind. But I figured that if this was like a Get Out situation, then they're only after me anyway. And if this was like a typical break-in, once the robber sees that the boys are special needs, he'll probably just leave them alone. Plus, they were asleep, so I was like, F it, I'm out, I'm gone, nigga, I'm gone. Because $20 an hour is great pay for babysitting. Damn right. But definitely not worth getting murdered over. But I stay, and I just sit there in dead silence in the dark, waiting for either the cop, David, or the murderer to show up. Not long after, I hear a car pull up. It was David. He comes inside, and of course, I act like everything was fine. Like, he comes inside, pays me my money, and basically says I can bail. And right as I'm leaving, he turns to me and says, so it looks like the guy came and picked up the boat today. And then I was like, what? And then he was like, my boat, remember this morning? I told you that I sold my boat, the one that was parked around the side of the house. It's gone now, so I guess the guy must have come and picked it up. Oh. Yeah. The boat.
Shit.
I forgot about that. Now it all made sense. All those noises I was hearing must have been the guy hooking up the trailer the boat was on.
Why wouldn't he knock on the
truck.
door?
So there weren't any Illuminati devil worshippers trying to kill me and sell my liver on the black market after all. That said, I still walked to my car really fast, and I also I never called that the police. Moral of the story. I don't really have one, gonna be honest with you. So instead, I'm just gonna tell you to go download War Robots because it's a dope app and I want them to keep sponsoring me so I can buy a new drawing tablet for my animations.
Sounds good. Go support the guy. Go support the Sauce God. I'm so mad that you never told him you called the cops. That's what I'm mad about. Oh, Jesus. That's so fucking funny because it's relatable. Everybody can relate to being scared of the dark, you know what I mean? There was the best situation I have is out in the country, you know, in Kentucky. When Skitten got to visit the farm before my grandparents sold that shit, she got to experience what it's like to be out with no street lights in the middle of nowhere for the first time. And they have their main house and then they have the barn. And on the barn, you know, like, I don't know, back in 2005, probably, we built an extension onto the barn, which we call the apartment. When my grandparents, if you visit my grandparents' house back in the day and you brought your significant other, y'all wasn't sleeping in the same room. She didn't give a damn if you was married or not, right? The women are sleeping in the house, the men are sleeping out in the apartment. So, right, so I was out in the apartment, Skitten was sleeping in the house, in my grandparents' home. And yeah, we have a walkway with some lights on the side of it, but them is the only lights that is out there when it gets dark. There's like one light on the front of the barn, and if that shit's on, and if we forget to turn that on, it's just gonna be pitch black outside. And I remember we were sending her out to the barn to get a drink or something, and I remember we waited for like 10 minutes after we sent her to get the drink. We was like, all right, maybe she fell or something. Let me go check. And I go outside, and she's just standing at the barn. Just standing at the barn, staring at that pathway. Like, I need to walk out in the darkness to get back to the house. I'm not going. And I had to actually go get her. So I hope she tells them. I hope she shoots that vlog about going to visit the farm for the first time. Because we had a good time, but it was definitely an experience for her to be there. But that'll get you sometimes out in the country, man. It'll be scary out there to be out there in the dark without a flashlight or nothing every once in a while. But yeah, keep the suggestions coming. I'll see y'all around ChavezzSlovakia. Peace out, man.
Crocs, 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 Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. My Crocs are gold. My pops is old. My Crocs got soul. My Crocs are bold. I go to church wearing Crocs. I'm always turned wearing Crocs. My Crocs are great. Your Crocs are lame. With my Crocs, I can cross a lake. Crocs, 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 Crocs.